Irrepressible Diamond David Lee Roth, former vocalist and, of course, a part-time acrobat with Van Halen, now fully fledged solo star. Coming up, we premiere Dave's new video, which is called Just Like Paradise. It's from his new album, Skyscraper, and we also run an interview I did with him in Los Angeles recently, which was quite an experience. But first, let's get warmed up with the man in action. This is Going Crazy, David Lee Roth. Well, here we are in the offices of Diamond Dave Enterprises with our special guest tonight, Diamond David Lee Roth. Thanks for being with us, mate.
Well, thank you very much, Richard, and hello down under, hello Australia. Here we come. It's the brand new year, eh?
It's the brand. Did you make a New Year's resolution?
No, we're looking for a New Year's revolution at this point. You know, the resolution is there's something brand new happening, and we follow it for the rest of the year. We start at the very beginning and end at the very end. This is showbiz. Welcome to this business called show. And the craft is, you're an entertainer. You got to go out, you got to go on the road, you got to do the radio, the video. That's why I'm in your house right now.
You've been described as rock and roll's most flamboyant showman. Is that something that you kind of have to work at a little, or is it something that comes completely natural?
I don't know. It depends on. Very often we have to inspect the source and see who's saying that, because
a lot of people have said that.
Two sides to any coin, you know. And what I perceive of as just kind of exaggerating what is the reality is considered a flamboyant kind of thing. Now, I don't look any different than your last ski instructor, see. But because I'm on this kind of a rock and roll show, then it's like, woo, you know, dig the haircut, or what have you. But as we all know, all of our greatest surfers and truck drivers have haircuts like mine now. So flamboyant is all according to context. And you bet your butt I'm flamboyant.
In the video and on the album cover, you're pictured rock climbing. I mean, this is obviously a passion of yours. Tell us about that, because that seems pretty crazy.
Well, adventuring, you know, is something I've been doing since I started reading comic books. At one time, the Boy Scouts was the big adventure, you know, learning to tie a knot and where to put the tourniquet was a big adventure, you know. And I've been, you know, up and down. We went through New Guinea and the Amazon and so forth, and it was just a case of going more and more vertical. You know, you're going to start climbing and such. And that's a perfect working metaphor for rock and roll. Climbing is because it's either straight up or straight down.
Have you had any nasty moments? I mean, it seems like a weird thing for someone like you to get into.
Well, there's an old saying that says mountaineers are always free. At the other hand, there's a tremendous amount of discipline and focus that goes into it, or you get dead. And the combination is something that is, you know, alternately very exciting and very calming. Just like the best kind of rock and roll music, you know. It's, you know, the exact same movement can be something that is very calming to you or can frighten the hell out of you. And taking that spirit and taking a lot of those kinds of emotions and experiences and bringing them into the studio is what we're trying to do here. It's completing the performance. It's not something to do, it's not Tom Sawyer showing off for Becky so much as it is, I knew that doing things like that are going to have a direct, resounding effect on me, and maybe if I can squeeze that into the wax, it's going to have an effect on you.
All right, time for more from the master showman himself, Diamond David Lee Roth. I had the pleasure of speaking with him in his LA office in West Hollywood a couple of weeks back, and he really is quite a guy. His new Skyscraper album is soon to be released, Exhibit A, there you go. Diamond Dave, scaling mountains and that sort of thing. We premiered the new video, Just Like Paradise, earlier this evening, and now let's go back to Dave and his 1983 medley, Just a Gigolo, I Ain't Got No Betty. Dave TV. You talked about the agony of divorce, if you like, from the Van Halen thing. I mean, I know you probably don't want to go into that too much, but is a lot of the bitterness gone?
You know, initially I wasn't bitter. I wasn't unhappy to leave at all. And the bitterness came when I was being attacked, and then I went after them, and it went around and around. That's one of the glories of being a public figure, at least of some nature. Beyond that, I don't care. You know, I am very happy to be, geez, I'm proud and I'm honored to be playing with people like Steve Vai. And people, you know, the Bissonette brothers, both been through music school, major. And I don't mean 3 years of piano lessons at the house. I mean people who can really articulate and communicate what they're doing musically. And if you want maximum crunch, you have to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're sitting around with a bunch of guys going, move one up. No, down. And it's going to take you 6 times as long to come up with something that you might not be happy with in the end anyway. You know, as far as what's happening now, I'm not bitter, no. I'm real happy to be doing what I'm doing. And when I look back at the Van Halen days, I think we did a lot together. I think we had some beautiful times together. And I think we made a few contributions to rock and roll.
And you sold a few records.
Yeah, I took a few trips to the...
What do you see going on musically around the world that you really like at the moment? Are there any other bands that you really kind of think, wow, that's something else?
Well, you know, there's all different kinds of music. There's all different types, you know, and it's really hard to say, you know, who's a favorite band or a favorite kind of music.
Well, what were you listening to in the car when you drove here?
Well, when I drive, you know, I listen to a different kind of music than you might think entirely, you know.
Tell me.
Well, it's tough, you know, listening to rock radio in L.A. in a lot of ways, because even though it's all rock and roll, and I might like every single one of the songs that they're playing, I'm going to like them at different times. Suppose you get up first thing in the morning, you feel great. Wow, you're going to put on a yellow shirt because you feel like, boom, you put on the radio and it's a slow Allman Brothers song.
Right.
Okay, well, you know, there's a certain time for this or what have you, you know, and you say, hey, man, this is now. I mean, you just saw a Pepsi commercial or something on the TV set. You're thinking, like, I am current, I am happening, I am modern, I am right now. You put on the radio, a rock radio, and it's something from 1971. And, you know, and you just never know, you know, and it goes slow, fast, whatever. And this is the 80s, man. This is 78 RPM, you know. This is a compact disc. This is fast forward. And, you know, so if I'm driving or something, then I'm listening to the dance music. It's a boom, boom, boom. Only difference between that and the good rock and roll is the haircut and the shoes. You know? We'll discuss lyrical content later, if we even remember any, you know.
Hello, this is Dave, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about life.